Hey man, this is Robbie Hemingway, author of Text God, the best-selling book on texting, and today I'm going to show you how to text an older woman. I've been getting a lot of questions about this from my clients. They want to know, I know how to text like a younger girl now in her 20s, but what if I want to text a woman in her 30s and above? And there's a very specific way to do that I'm going to show you today. Now, what you need to realize, the first thing is, the age of a person does make a difference. Okay, so when you're in your, let's say 21 to 30, you're finding yourself. You're experiencing new things, you're having new adventures, you're not quite sure what path you want life to take you. Now, you never really do know, but you become more sure the older you get because of the mistakes you make. You make mistakes and you know, well, I won't do that again. And by the process of elimination, a woman begins to find herself and to a certain extent does know how she wants to live and what she wants to do with herself, okay? Now, not everyone's like this, but for the most part. Next thing you want to realize is that what a woman needs, an older woman, is different from what a younger woman needs. And for that, I want to introduce to you someone who you may not know about. His name is Maslow, okay? And what Maslow, he's a great scientist, and what he came up with was that there is a hierarchy of needs, things that people need in order to get to the next level of self-fulfillment. So, the first thing he says is that, we'll go over here to the pyramid, and this is Maslow's hierarchy of needs. The first thing he says is that a woman needs physiological, people in general, women and men. This means like food, water, air, right? Those are your most basic needs. Obviously, a woman doesn't need that. She already has that, so you don't have to worry about that area of her life. The second is safety. This could be work, an environment where she's safe, a job, security, anything that makes her feel safe. Typically, an older woman has already defined that. Right? They have a pretty stable job at this point. They may have some savings. They have a place to live at. They're not trying to find a place. They're not living with their parents. So you don't want to really focus on that very much. What you're going to focus on and attack, because you know that this is the area where a woman is vulnerable at this point and you can really make an influence on her, is the next two: love and belonging and esteem. Now, once women have these two things, and you probably realize the whole personality of a career woman. I'm focused on my career, I'm focused. What are they lacking? They're lacking love, relationships, and belonging. So this is the area that you need to focus on when you're texting an older woman, and realize that this is a part in her life that's lacking. Right? You don't need to focus on anything physiological. I'm not talking about how sexy she looks in that red dress. That you're going to talk about. That's called flirting. Okay? You're not going to talk about safety, about how's your job. Right? She already has that. How is your job doesn't spark any emotion, any positive emotion. How was work this week? It's the same it's been for the last 15 years that I've worked here. You don't want to get her into that mode when you're talking about boring stuff. You need to be excited. You need to fill that void that she has of love and belonging and of self-esteem. And when you can fill these two voids in her life, which is what she's really missing at that point, is when she's going to say, wow, this person is talking to me like no one else, and he's doing things that no other guy's doing, and he realizes at what stage I'm at in my life right now. He's not trying to take me out to these places where I don't want to go. He's doing things that he knows what I want. And it's so refreshing for a woman to meet a guy. I hear this all the time from my girls. When a guy understands her, that is, like, to her, she's like, wow, how did I find this person? Where did he come from? Came from watching my YouTube videos, hopefully. But she's going to realize that you're different. And she's going to treat you differently. So guess what? An older woman doesn't have a lot of guys who are texting her and flirting with her and talking to her because guys are intimidated by older women. So you, having the confidence that you're going to have, being a text god, you're going to have that confidence to approach older women like if you would anybody else. And she's going to realize it at the very onset and at the very beginning. And you're going to ask for her number the same way you'd ask for any other number, because a woman likes to be wooed. She still wants to feel like a princess, okay? She may have a guard up because she's a career woman, or she has things figured out, or she may tell you she does, but she still wants to feel like a woman. So if you can make her feel that fire that she used to have when she was younger, that she hasn't felt because she's been working so hard to make sure she has her mortgage paid, to make sure that she may have kids, that her kids are taken care of. They put their sexuality so low on the totem pole that many times women aren't having sex for months even a year on it. I've heard some crazy stories. So what you need to do is go in there and reignite that fire that you know is there, that's always there. It's just been covered up by things like work, bills, kids, career, all this other stuff. And reignite that. So you want to flirt with her. You want to tell her she's sexy. You want to compliment her on different things because she's at that point of her life where she really accepts that. You know, I mean, not everyone tells an older woman you look sexy. So when you want to really get her, you compliment her on something, on how good she looks in a certain dress or in a certain picture on a certain day. When you take her out and things like that, you invite her out the same way you would, with confidence. And when you take her out, you compliment her on the way that she looks sexy in her work glass, or her glasses that she wears to work, stuff like that. That's going to increase her self-esteem. And if you're the person that makes her feel good and raises her self-esteem, I don't care how old or how young you are, she's going to look at you as somebody in her life that like a foundation, like a rock, like someone who she can actually look eye to eye and say, okay, he's on the same level as I am. I've seen 21-year-old. When I was 21, I got a 40-year-old, okay? And I did the exact same thing. Because when I was 18, I studied Maslow, I studied what he did, and I said, you know what, this makes perfect sense. So take that, I don't care if you're 17 or if you're 47, Maslow's hierarchy of needs applies to everybody, so study this stuff, and when you meet a woman, realize what state she's in. If she doesn't have this figured out, right, if she doesn't have her safety figured out, if she doesn't have her job or her house figured out, well then text her differently than someone who does. But you want to focus on these two things here. Self-actualization is something that you can help with. It's a whole nother subject. I don't want to get into it, but focus on these two and you'll be well off with the older woman. They love this stuff.